Hello greetings, hope you guys are good. Today's video is part 3 of trigonometry exam questions. So without wasting any time, let's get straight into it. Now remember what I always tell you guys. Whenever you're given a question statement and or a diagram, analyze that diagram or that question statement before answering the questions that you will be given below. So in question 6, it says, the diagram below represents the graphs of f of x equals a sine x and g of x equals b cos x. And this x right here is the domain. Now, let's analyze graph f of x. You'll notice from this function right here that we have a missing a. A represents the amplitude, meaning the height of the peaks and also the depth of the troughs. So how are we going to find A? Basically, what you have to do is use the base function as your reference and compare the values. Now, the difference between those values will give you A. What I mean by that is when the coefficient of A is equal to 1, you'll see that where x is 0, y will also be equal to 0. Where x is 90, y will be equal to 1. Where x is 180, y will be equal to 0. Where x is 270, y will be equal to minus 1. And then where x is 360, y will be equal to 0. So that will be the base of f of x. Now, when you look at the base function versus the function that we are given here, there are two main differences. Difference number 1, the amplitude in the base model is 1, whereas with the function that we've been given in the question, the altitude is 2. That's the first thing. The second thing you will notice is that where y is positive in the base model, when you're looking at the function that it's been given to us, y is negative. So from those two factors alone, we will know that a is equal to negative 2. So the amplitude of f of x is equal to negative 2. What about g of x? It means you have to erase everything here. So you're going to do the same thing for g of x. Refer to the base model where x is 0, y is equal to 1. Where x is 90, y is equals to 0. Where x is 180, y is equal to negative 1. Where x is equal to 270, y is 0. Where x is 360, y is equal to 1. So looking at this graph right here, you can tell that this graph has the same points as the base model, meaning that on B, your answer is going to be 1, because essentially g of x is the base model, right? So question 6.2, it says, for which values of x will g be a decreasing function? So basically, it's asking us for which values of x will the increase in the x value result in a decrease of y values. Looking at g of x, which is this cos of x, from this x value over here to this x value over here, we are experiencing a decline because the function is moving from 1 to 0 to negative 1. So your answer is from 0 to 180 degrees. And then what is the amplitude of f of x? We said the amplitude of f of x is 2, because amplitude is the height of the peak or the depth of the trout. It is 2 units, right? And then 6.4, what is the range of g of x? The range of g of x is 1 and -1. We're going to say it's -1. It's just easier to write it this way. And then question 6.5 says, for which values of x is f of x minus g of x equal to 2? If you look at your graph, right, where g of x is 0 and where f of x is 2. So essentially where x is 270, f of x, which is 2, minus g of x, which is 0, will be equal to 2. Then you've gotten your 9 marks. So here the answer is 270 degrees. Let's look for another question paper, and then we'll be done with today's video. So here's another example. Sketched below is the graph of g of x is equal to a cos b theta. Right. So we have to find the missing value of a and b. And like I said in the beginning, when you're looking for the values of a and b, you always have to compare them with the values of the base model. So with the base model, where x is equal to 0, y will be 1. Where x is 90, y will be 0. Where x is 180, y will be -1. Where x is 270, y will be 0. Where x is 360, y will be 1. So this is the base model, right? So the first thing you'll notice is that for the values of x where x is positive, with the new model, y will be negative. So we know that our a value is therefore negative. The amplitude of the base model is 1, whereas the amplitude of this new graph is 2, meaning the height of the peak is 2. So a is -2. Putting those two factors into account, is there any other change that we need to account for? No. And you can also check this in your calculator. You'll also find that b here is 1. So for 5.2.2, it says use the graph to determine the value of x or the values of x for which g of x will be greater than 0. Okay. Where is g of x positive? Between 90 and 270. So literally you will write here, and then they say determine the range of h, right? If h is number 1, the image of g, if g was shifted down 2 units. Basically you have to say if this graph was shifted down by 2 units, your height will move from -2 to 0, and then this will also move from -2 to -4, meaning your new range, which is y values, will be -4, the whole inequality shebang, 0, equals to or greater than, equals to or greater than. Right. Question 5.2.4 says, using the graph, determine the value of minus 2 cos of 0, cos of 1, up until cos of 3/6. This is equal to 1 cycle. That times negative 2. Your answer will be negative 2. And then you have your 7 marks. So we'll do other examples in the next video. For now though, peace.